This research tried to investigate into the impact of financial technology, which is fintech, on the Ghanaian banking sector has been one of the issues that most of our country, um, most of the industry, the banking industry faces. The introduction of banking technology such as cryptocurrency, the fintech, not banking technology, fintech such as cryptocurrency, Satoshi, Bitcoin, though it is popular out there, when it comes to Africa, especially South Sahara Africa, this is this is not well known. We try to catch up with it. In some areas in South Sahara Africa, these things are known as a taboo or it's a no-go area. We do not have the technology to track when it comes to Bitcoin or when it comes to cryptocurrency and a transaction. However, as a lecturer, I can see that most of the students in Ghana are into it. Most of the students are into Bitcoin, most of the students are into cryptocurrencies and they trade. So though it is illegal, when it comes to trading, among illegal when it comes to the banking sector, because the Ghanaian central bank has legalized digital banking and digital currency. It's an ascendancy when it comes to the populace. So we tried as much as possible to investigate how this thing is impacting on the banking sector, whether the use of fintech is taking more customers from the banking sector into the non-traditional banking sector, which is the cryptocurrency and the other fintech technology. So when it comes to technology, the banking sector of Ghana had really advanced. Initially, with the advancement of the technology in the banking sector, when technology first set into the banking sector, we were not doing much of the high tech, which was just everyone had to go to the banking hall and cash his or her money. However, with the introduction, with the last 2000s, it has new technology had evolved, especially with the introduction of technology such as the mobile money. Most of the banking industry, or most of the banking companies or institutions are linked to the mobile money, which means that it is easier for you to access your bank account details using the mobile device. Instead of you going to the bank, you would either be at home, then you can use your mobile device to do all your banking transaction. The problem we have currently is, though ATM and other like XMX is under ascendancy, and the transfer of banking sectors, using other platforms, there also had been a huge impact when it comes to global trade wars or global rift between the global south and the global west. This ascendancy occurred when Russia started its SMO, which is a special military operations in Ukraine. Taking away Russia from the SWIFT system allow Russia to use other banking, other transaction modes, which are more digital, and so influences most of the South, the global South, to also align itself by that same trajectory, which means that people might not use, bankers or customers might not use SWIFT, or they might not use the normal banking activities, but may use digital currencies such as the SWIFT, such as the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrencies, which are not monitored by the banking sector. Ghana also, as a country, our banking sector is not developed so much to track some of this activity. One serious challenge we have in Ghana is this. Supposing if there should be a challenge or there should be a default in payments using any of these electronic transactions such as the cryptocurrency. There are no rules and regulations. There are no laws that will regulate that operations. Which means that if you take it to the legal to court to argue your case out, it will not work because the system does not provide rules or guidelines to monitor transactions that are done outside the banking sector. That's the normal banking sector. Now, with the audit review, we could see that there had been a lot of transformation and interaction when it comes to the use of electronic transactions. Electronic banking has been in ascendancy in the Ghanaian sector. The wider concept of electronic banking, such as the internet banking, is also in an ascendancy. The traditional banking sector has remained largely untouched, especially with SWIFT. But currently, we do not have such a thing happening because last week, Christine, the president of EU Bank indicated that the use of MasterCard and Visa card relying on US should be stopped, and they should develop their own internal, internal platform whereby transaction can also take place, which means that when it comes to the traditional banking, even within the traditional banking, there are a lot of risks within the traditional banking on what to do and what not to do. The history of Ghana and the Bank of Ghana. Ghana Bank was initially known as the Bank of British West Africa, and it was established in 1896, which then came to known as Standard Chartered Bank. But when Ghana gained its independence in 1957, Bank of Ghana was then established, which means that the Bank of British West Africa then came to be known as the Standard Chartered Bank, and Bank of Ghana stand alone. In the Bank of Ghana, there were two separate banks. We had the Ghana Commercial Bank, which was operating serving the individual customers, and Bank of Ghana being the monitoring bank. Over the years, there had been a lot of banks. There had been a lot of banks that had joined the banking sector, and currently we have roughly about 33 banks, active banks in Ghana. When it comes to fintech, in Ghana, we do not have a lot of knowledge about fintech. Most of the knowledge we have about fintech is mobile money and probably cryptocurrency. But the fintech, the platforms that are operating fintech, one of them is the mBridge, which is based on blockchain And normally, mBridge is also used by other bankers in addition to their normal SWIFT systems. Geopolitical rift between the global south and the global west has also led to the increase of alternative mode of systems. That's moving from the rift from SWIFT to the mBridge. For instance, the European Central Bank President, Christine Lagarde, had urged EU to reduce the use of payment systems such as the MasterCard, Visa, and call for EU to develop their own platform. In addition to the global increment or the global increase in the use, global increase, IMF has also indicated as for the first time has added cryptocurrency, that's Bitcoin, as part of its active currency. That's in IMF 2025 in their reports. US President Donald Trump is also backing the use of cryptocurrency. In addition to this, we also know that when it comes to the exchange or the transaction with cryptocurrency, UAE, United Arab Emirates, for the first time transacted with China.
Joseph, I'm just saying there are 3 minutes left.
3 minutes, okay. Have their initial transaction with China using the digital dirham. So when you look at our concept looks at, our concept framework is the impact of financial technology. That's we're looking at emerging technologies such as the banking sector, and the banking sector, those that are governed by the banking sector, such as the SWIFT, the BRICS Pay, and the e-banks, and those that are not governed by the banking sector, that is the, what do you call it, the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies, and their impact on how customer, whether it will increase the bank, to increase the customers for the banking sector, the traditional banking sector, or it may reduce the customer for, the customers of the banking sector, of the traditional banking sector. In our methodology, we used quantitative method, We use survey questionnaire, and most of the survey questionnaire we use it through emails and WhatsApp. We send it to colleagues within, and also we did snowball, because we look at those who are in the banking sector, we give it to them for them to give to their colleague for them to respond. Our findings and results. During the research, we had 236 respondents who responded to our questionnaire. And we also created some hypotheses to know what really, and to know the response of the respondents. With the people that responded, roughly about 60% were bankers and 43 were customers. When you look at our findings, it shows that in Ghanaian sector, the mobile sector, the mobile money payments form about 90%, and the online banking system form about 64%, and 20% does peer-to-peer, and cryptocurrency forms just about 28%. Now, it also indicated that when we wanted to know is my time up?
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. In our response, we also wanted to know the awareness of individual when it comes to the blockchain. It shows an average rate of 2.53, which shows that Ghanaians do not have much knowledge when it comes to the blockchain system. When it comes to how do we agree that Fintech play positive impact on the traditional banking, we have 3.79 as an average, which indicate that a lot of Ghanaians have the knowledge that Fintech play positive impact on traditional banking. And when it comes to the blockchain and cryptocurrency having negative impact on the Ghanaian economy, it shows, most of the respondents indicated that there's a significant indication that 3.3 indication that most Ghanaians believe that Fintech will have negative impact on the Ghanaian economy. So let me rush through to the final discussion and conclusion. Though Fintech plays a major role in our financial sector, there's a lot to learn in Ghana. The rift in the geopolitical sphere has led to the increased use. So there's a need for the nation to come on board to accept the fact that the use of Fintech has come to stay. So all that we're trying to say is that though Ghanaians, the banking sector do not accept Fintech as of now, the research indicates that the banking sector must accept the Fintech concept and must draw regulatory policies that will be able to regularize the use of Fintech in Ghana. Thank you.